Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, Such Beauty. For my second video, I'm going to show you my full foundation routine. If you'd like to see how to get this flawless look, then just keep on watching. Okay, so first what I like to do before I do any of my foundation or any makeup to my face, I start off with my moisturizer, which is a great base for any makeup. It's just going to hydrate your skin. And the one that I use is by Origins. It's a great company. They're plant-based and they're all natural, which is really nice. And this one's for red and sensitive skin. And yeah, I don't really have that sensitive skin. I like to use it because I have redness around my nose and it's just really nice for hydrating. So I just kind of put a good amount, because the more moisturized your skin is, the better that the makeup is gonna glide on. So now that my skin is moisturized, I go in with a primer next. Primers to me are really important because it's going to help your makeup last all day. The one I use is the Benefit POREfessional one. I really like this one because it's going to minimize your pores, which most people, like me, they have large pores around their nose and their cheeks. So this is going to really make them appear smaller, and it also smooths it out. So I just take, actually I might have grabbed too much, but one like that, and then I just rub it around my hands just to warm up the product, and then I just kind of just dot it around, and even like right underneath my eyes, I kind of have like, I don't know what you call it, all those little like bumps right there. So I put some right in there, and it honestly smooths that out, because sometimes makeup likes to collect right in that corner and it's not smooth when you get up in close and personal to your makeup. And so I just add some right there and I just rub it in really nicely just to smooth it out. Okay, so now that my face is prepped and primed, then what I like to do before foundation is I take my concealer, one of my concealers. This one's by Lancome. It's actually the one I used in my last video. It's a 310 Cami because it's closer to my skin tone. So what I do is I just put it on the areas that I need it, like any acne scars or breakouts that I have right now, like this guy. And I also put it on my redness just to calm it down before the foundation. Then the next step is you can move on to your foundation. The foundation I'm going to use today with my Beauty Blender, I find that's one of the best ways to apply it where you get good coverage but it doesn't end up looking cakey. I'm going to use the Urban Decay All Nighter. This is a really good foundation. It's full coverage but it doesn't feel heavy on the skin. And I'm in the shade 5. So what I do is I just put it on the back of my hand. Just like two like big pumps. Then I just go ahead and I just dab it on the back, and then I just put dots on my face. And then you're just going to pounce it in. And the more you press, the fuller coverage it will be. You don't want to swipe this, because then you're going to lose lots of the coverage and you're going to get streaks. The pressing into the skin gives you the coverage. And I just take some down my neck just to blend it out. And I avoid the under eye area because concealer is going to go there. So I just leave it alone because I don't want to build up too much product under there, because you're trying to avoid creasiness as much as possible. And under eyes have lots of lines, especially for someone who smiles a lot like me, that you get those crow's feet or just more lines. And even the smile lines are like big. But so you just want to avoid that area. The less product, the better. So now what I do next is I do my highlighting. any liquids you want to do first before you set them with powder, because then you'll avoid the cakiness. You always want to do liquids before powders. Okay, so the concealer that I'm using today, I'm going to mix two because one's a little too dark and the other one's a little too white. But it is one of my favorite concealers right now. It's the Tarte Shape Tape. This is in the shade medium. When I went to go try and get it, of course, since it's so popular, it was out of stock, the color that I would have got, which is probably light medium. So, and they only had super light, and then I thought that was going to be way too light for my skin. So I just went with medium, and it almost matches my skin, so it doesn't really give me the highlighting effect that I want. Normally for highlighter, like concealers that you use, you want it a shade or two lighter because that's going to brighten. If you use a shade that's natural to your skin tone, it's not going to make much of a difference. It will probably cover the dark circles, but it's not going to brighten. So I'm going to use this one first. And if you see me looking over, I'm just looking into my mirror. Okay. So I'm just going to put a few dots. I do on the T-zone and under my eyes. And then just lines right here. And some on the forehead. And then, of course, under the eyes. I don't take it directly under the eyes. I just do a few lines. Because when I blend it with my Beauty Blender, I'm going to blend it up towards my eyeballs. So whatever leftover product there is, I'm just going to blend it up so it's not so heavy under the eyes. And as you can see, this color almost matches my skin tone. So I'm going to go in with my other Lancome one. I have a bunch of these. This one's in porcelain, just to even it out. And I'm just going to take it on the back of my Kat Von D concealer brush. Just going to pour a little on there. And I'm just going to add. And then this one, I like to do I'm going to go with a question mark. No, not a question mark. What is that? Exclamation point on my nose. So I just do a line down the center. And then I just take it and do a dot right on the tip of my nose. Okay. And now time for the blending. I'm going to take my Beauty Blender that I use with my foundation and just pounce it using the side of it. And after you finish doing that, then you can go ahead and set your highlight with the powder. Just the spots you highlighted, none of the other stuff yet. So I just go ahead and take, where's my brush? This is just it's called the bronzer brush, but I just use it to set it. And it doesn't have a name. I'm not exactly sure. I got this whole set for Christmas one year. They're really nice, but I just don't know the brand. If I find them, I'll let you guys know. But so I just dab it into my powder. This powder, I used to work at one of the makeup counters. And this one's a dual finish 120 ivory. It's just a light color just to set it. You always want to set it with a powder that's similar to the color of your concealer, so it will keep the brightness going. So now up next, I'm going to take my bronzer. The bronzer I'm going to use today, or the palette I'm going to use for my bronzer today, is the Shade and Light palette. Yes, it's a little dirty because when I open it, you're going to see that mostly they are all used up. But now, which is super exciting, Kat Von D has come out with this palette where you can get refills on your pans, which is great because I have used a lot of it up and it's pretty messy. But so that's the one I'm using. Oh, I don't want you to see that though. Okay. So I'm just going to take my Tarte brush. There's something on it. I'm not even sure what this is called. I don't know the name of it, but it's the Tarte brush and it's big and fluffy and has a huge handle. But I just like to go ahead and use it on my temples and my cheekbones. So I'm just going to dab it into the middle product, which is a little warm brown, but it's good for my skin tone. So I'm just going to tap off the excess. And then I just put it on the outer edge of my temples and just blend it up. And I just put it right along the hairline. You want to keep the center, the highlighted part, so don't drag it in too far, but just enough. This is going to make your forehead look smaller. Even if you don't have a big forehead, like mine's not huge, it's just going to help make it look smaller. And then I'm just going to dab a little more. I'm just going to put it into the hollows of my cheeks. That's where you want to contour. If you don't know where your contour is, you can kind of see the light shadow that it brings, or you just like take, let's say, a makeup brush, and you just put it on the top of your cheekbone and you roll it down. Wherever like that hollow part is, that's where your contour goes. And so I'm just going to take it a little, just lightly, and kind of blend it right in there. You don't want to take it too far in. Well, I mean, what I do is I just take like from the bottom of the pupil down. That's kind of where I stop. But I end up taking whatever's left over and just kind of smiling and just drag it right there. Because when you smile, it's going to give the little shadow of you having like a big like smile, like puffed up like cheekbone. And you always want to blend up with your contour bronzer and not down. So just put it in there. Now I get scrubs. And I'm going to do the same to the other side. And also, I like to put my bronzer or my contour right underneath the bottom lip. It's just going to make a nice little shadow that's going to make your lip look more like pouty in the front. It's going to give you that shadow. And I also just take my pinky, because it's the smallest finger, and I just put it right in the center of the Cupid's bow. And then I also contour my nose. Take the same color, just dab a fluffy brush into this. This is the Urban Decay brush. It's a dual-ended one. And I'm just going to lightly go on the sides of my nose, drag it down. Get a little more. Do it on that side. And then I just connect it in the front. And I also do it right off to the center, so it kind of makes it like the question mark is still there. Not the question mark. Keep on calling it that. The exclamation point. There you go. And if it's too, like a little bit too harsh, I just take my dual fiber brush. It's a Sephora brand. And I just kind of blend it out a little. That's what I do with my whole face. So I'm just going to blend out the lines of the contour and the bronzer. And just, there you go. So it's seamless, so there's no lines. And then once you're done doing that, I'm just going to go ahead and I bake underneath my contour. And I'm just using the Real Technique sponge. So I take my Laura Mercier translucent powder. And I just dab it in there. And then I go right underneath it. And I like to kind of curve it up just a little. Just to give that line like this smile kind of effect. And I'm just going to leave that there, and then I'm going to keep going on to my other makeup. I'm going to go on to the blush next. The blush, one of the blushes that I really like, it's actually by Milani, so it's affordable blush. And it's the rose, it looks like a rose. I'm not sure if that's what it's called. It's powder blush. But this is in 01, and it's called Romantic Rose. So I'm going to take the same brush from this collection, that's just a blush brush. And I just dab it in there, swirl it, and I just tap off the excess if you have too much. And then I'm just going to start by the back of my cheeks and just blend it right to the front of the apples. And just a light hand, you don't want to have too much. Just enough to get that little pop of color. And you don't want to take it too far up because you want still your highlight to be there, where you just like highlighted and put your concealer. Okay. So then if there's harsh lines between your concealer and your blush, I just blend it out with the dual fiber. This is really nice just to blend and soften everything out. Next is one of my favorite parts, the highlighting of the face. It's really nice because it's really going to give that extra pop. And I use the Becca highlighters. They're really, really nice. They're super pigmented, but they're not like grainy like chunks of glitter. They're really nice big shine to it. And the color I use is opal. I've hit pan, I'm pretty low, so I have to go out and get another. But it's beautiful. And I just take my Sigma brush. This is the Tapered Kabuki F86. It's just tapered on top. And I just kind of sweep a little on the tip. And then I put my highlight right on the tops of my cheekbones. I kind of make a little C. Just do that. And I don't know if you can see in there, but it's highlighting. And then I just do it to the other side. I also take it on my Cupid's bow. And a little on my chin. And just dab it on the forehead, just a smidge. You don't want it too crazy. And I do it on the tip of my nose. And down the center, like the exclamation point. Okay. So then after you've finished all your face work, you're just going to dust off your baking and just blend it out real quick. So now the next step that I like to do is I go into my eyebrows, but I'm going to do that off camera because my latest video that I just did was how I fill in and shape my brows. So I'm going to do that and I'll come right back. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed my full foundation routine. If you did, please give this video a big thumbs up and also subscribe down below so you can get notifications on my new videos coming up. Also, you can follow me on my social media account on Instagram. My username is kmsuch_MUA. Alright, I hope you guys have a great day and I will see you in the next video. And cut.